Joel Sachs is the Director of the Department of Labor and Industries. He was appointed by Governor Jay Inslee in January of 2013, making him one of 3 ex officio members serving on the Washington State Investment Board. He is Vice Chair of the Investment Board and a member of the Private Markets, Audit, and Administrative Committees. LNI's mission to keep Washington safe and working is critical to all the major programs at LNI. Joel oversees our state's workers' compensation system and the Occupational Safety and Health Program, along with the Apprenticeship Program. So you can see Joel's full bio on the conference website. And without further ado, please join me in welcoming Joel Sachs.
Hey, JD, thanks. Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for coming to this incredible conference. And most important, I want to start out by thanking all of you for your absolute commitment to apprenticeship. It is an incredibly important journey that we go on together, and we would not be able to serve Washingtonians and create the workforce that we need for tomorrow without all of your hard work and dedication. So I want to really thank you for stepping up and leading. I have a fun opportunity today, which is I get to give out some awards to recognize a few of you who do outstanding work. But before I do that, I was invited to speak just for a couple of minutes on sort of our vision of apprenticeship and where we want to go. And it struck me that as Jody was sort of giving my introduction and talking about the role that I play in helping to invest the state's pension funds, sort of taking that as a framework of how we think about investing our dollars, whether it's for our pensions or quite frankly for our own individual investments, is the right way to think about how we should envision the future of apprenticeship. Because when we think about apprenticeship, it really is about investing in the future. How are we going to ensure that we have a robust economy in Washington and that we have opportunities for workers across industries in the years to come? So when I think about what I want to do when I'm investing my money, I think about basically 3 goals, and I think these are the right 3 goals for apprenticeship. Goal number 1, I want expansion. I think you all do too. You want more money tomorrow than you got today. Goal number 2, I want diversity, because everything that I've learned, it's about diversification. You want to have a little bit of money here, a little bit of money there, and so that we can sort of withstand the rides of the marketplace. And if you think about what we're committed to doing around apprenticeship, it really is around diversification. We're looking at expanding the opportunities across the board. Where can we have apprenticeable occupations? The DOL website, and this is interesting, I'm going to circle back to this in a minute, actually identifies about 1,000 different apprenticeable occupations across this country. And if you think about where we focus today, we haven't hit that 1,000 mark yet, so we have lots of opportunity to diversify. There's another form of diversification which I think is equally important, is how are we ensuring that we provide an apprenticeship system that has opportunities for as diverse a workforce as we have in Washington. As we think about gender diversity, as we think about ethnic diversity, as we think about age diversity, how are we ensuring that we are diversifying the apprenticeship program so that everyone has that opportunity to participate? Then the third goal is when we make investments, one of the things we want to do is always maintain our principal. Now, with the stock market goes up, the stock market goes down. It's always fun when we see our investments go up. But what makes us really uncomfortable is if I invest $100 and then my $100 turns into $50, it makes me pretty nervous. That same principle of how do we maintain the core, I think, is incredibly important as we think about the expansion of apprenticeship. I think it's going to be wonderful as we achieve the governor's goal to double apprenticeship in Washington. But we can't do that in a way that jeopardizes the fundamental importance of apprenticeship. And for me, here's what that means. When you finish an apprenticeship program, you get a card. And that card says, I have a skill set. I have the capacity to do a particular set of skills and be successful in an occupation. As we look to expand, as we get more people in apprenticeship, as we look at other occupations, we have to always maintain the integrity of that journey card. We have to always make sure that we can make that commitment to each worker who wants to join the apprenticeship program, that when you finish the apprenticeship program, you're going to walk away with not just a card, but a set of skills behind that card that's going to make you able to do the jobs that you're expected to do. So I think for me, it's those three things. If we're going to expand, we're going to diversify, and we're going to maintain the credibility of what this program is all about, we can be incredibly successful together. And on that first note, I do want to share with you, you may have heard that with our latest data from about a month ago, we have set an all-time high for the number of apprentices in Washington State. We are now at 18,947 apprentices in Washington State. And we know that apprenticeship matters. If you think about sort of that notion of diversifying the occupations, we recently did a survey connected to Career Connect Washington, where we're talking about how do we connect the youth to opportunities, and you're going to hear Susie later today talk more about that. But a couple data points that came out of a survey that was recently done. 87% of the people surveyed here in Washington said education beyond high school is needed today. 82% said schools alone don't do enough to prepare students. And 75% in the survey said career-connected learning programs should be expanded in Washington. And it's sort of from that base that we're really starting to think about how do we do an even more effective job of providing as many channels for the youth of our state as possible? How do we ensure that we can help navigate? I have a ninth grader. How do we ensure that she has as many opportunities to succeed as possible? So what we want to do is create that notion of multiple pathways by engaging with youth. And rather than sort of my talking to you about what I think youth should do, what I wanted to do is share with you a speech that my ninth grader gave. She had an assignment, and her assignment was to convince a group of kids in her class to go out and do something. And so she did it with a partner, and they sat down and they thought about what is it that we want to convince kids to do. Now, I took this as a good sign, because as she thought about the things she wanted to talk about, she decided to talk about things that I must be talking about at home a lot, because she said, I want to convince kids to think about apprenticeship. And so she and her friend got together, and I just want to read a couple pieces of her speech, because it was, from my perspective, this is all coming from a ninth grader, it was pretty inspiring. She starts in the following way. She asks everyone in her class, she asks, how many of you want to go to college? Just raise your hand. Then she says, how many of you think you need to go to college in order to get a good job? Third question, she asks, how many of you think you'll learn how to do the job when you're in college? Then she asks, how many of you are worried about paying for college and all of your student debt? And she began to get everyone's attention. Then the speech goes on. What if I were to tell you there's an opportunity to get a job certification that's equivalent to a degree, and by getting this, you're guaranteed to know how to do your job? This may sound like it costs a lot of money, right? Well, instead of paying for it, you get paid while you learn. That's what apprenticeship is all about. And she's talking to a group of ninth graders. I just want to read one more paragraph to you. She goes on to say, apprenticeship is a way of learning skills for a particular job. These programs can take anywhere from 1 to 6 years to complete. Apprenticeship combines classroom learning on the job and hands-on training to learn how to do the job. It's like learning a sport. I thought this was great. I never thought about it. You can watch football for years, but that doesn't mean you know how to play. Once you start practicing and learning from coaches, you can actually begin to play the sport. Apprenticeship works the same way. Instead of coaches, you're taught by a journeyman. Journeymen are professionals in their trades and have many years of experience on the job. And she goes on to talk about what apprenticeship is all about. She's the one that found 1,000 different apprenticeable occupations on the DOL website. And then she gives her classmates a whole list of opportunities. Here are the ways, if you're interested in apprenticeship, this is what you need to do. And concludes by saying that from her, what she recognizes as one of the biggest barriers that she and her classmates face to entering apprenticeship are their parents. And so she talks about advice on how to help your parents understand that apprenticeship makes sense. So I think what we need to do is get those ninth graders on the road. She did an amazing job. I'm incredibly proud of her, and I think that's what we need to do, is we need to take as many kids in high school as possible and help them recognize that apprenticeship is an incredibly important opportunity and a path for people. And with that, what I want to do is then sort of now transition into talking about how we make apprenticeship real. And a part of the way we make apprenticeship real is highlighting the leaders of your community that every day are stepping up and doing amazing things to present opportunities for workers of our state. So if you're willing, I want to give out a couple of awards. So our first award is for the Outstanding Registered Apprenticeship Employer. Our 2018 recipient has long been an active participant in regional apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship programs, and it's Selin Construction. Selin works directly with and within regional pre-apprenticeship programs like PACE and ANEW and the regional pre-apprenticeship partnerships. These programs have benefited with better equipment, tours for students, enhanced training and safety gear, all due to Selin. So please join me in congratulating Jason Barnwell on behalf of Selin Construction. Jason, congratulations.
Go from left to right.
And we have an award. Jason, thank you. So giving out the awards is part of I'm still in my apprenticeship about how to give these out, so. And are we doing photos all together? Yeah, we'll do. Okay, thank you. So the second award that I am proud to hand out is for the outstanding support of diversity in registered apprenticeship. And our recipient for this award has served as the president of the Seattle chapter of the Electrical Workers Minority Caucus. He's a founding member of the organization Democrats of Diversity and Inclusion, and he's currently the president of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 46. If you haven't guessed, you know him as Sean Bagsby. Sean is a tireless and dedicated and passionate man for the access and equity in registered apprenticeship opportunities, and he's truly an inspiration to so many in the community. So again, join me in congratulating Sean as the 2018 Outstanding Support of Diversity in Registered Apprenticeship. Sean, congratulations. Our third award is for the Outstanding Support of Diversity in Registered Apprenticeship, and this time it goes to an organization. We're trying to build some anticipation here. Thank you, there you go. It goes to an organization many of you are familiar with. They have a wonderful booth that we saw when we first walked in, and it goes to ANEW. So ANEW, as many of you know, was actually founded in 1980 by women dedicated to improving access and the advancement into non-traditional career paths. The staff of ANEW provide training and navigation and support services that include improving equal access to family wages and apprenticeable career pathways for the whole community. The program really is iconic. It's the nation's longest running pre-apprenticeship program. So I want to welcome Karen Dove on behalf of ANEW and ask you all to recognize the wonderful staff who do the work every day at ANEW. Karen, thank you. Congratulations. Our next award, the category is Outstanding Registered Apprenticeship Advocacy. I feel like I need the envelope. It focuses on the out-front champions are out there sort of spreading the word about apprenticeship each and every day. It's somebody that has actually been advancing apprenticeship, not just in 2018, but really for the past 20 years. His list of accomplishments and roles and projects, it's far too long for me to go into here, but let me just give you a couple of highlights. Our award winner was the project manager for Tacoma's local employment apprenticeship training program, also known as LEAP. He's the administrator of the State Board for Community and Technical Colleges. He's the past chair of the General Workforce Development Council at Bates Technical College. And if you haven't guessed, our winner is Peter Guzman. So Peter's leadership has pulled together local partnerships, he secured needed resources, and has helped to expand regional pre-apprenticeships such as PACE and ANEW. So join me in congratulating Peter for receiving the 2018 Outstanding Registered Apprenticeship Advocacy Award. Peter, congratulations. Okay, and our final award winner of the evening, I guess this is not the best picture, but it comes close. It's for the Outstanding Apprenticeship Partner, because as we all know, we have to come together as a community if we're going to effectively have the best apprenticeship program in the country, which is, I think, what we're going to be able to achieve. So that award this year, it goes to Stacy Anderson and the Pack Mountain WDC. So Stacy worked with federal grants to provide support to apprentices and participants in the apprenticeship preparation program. Pack Mountain coaches and helps with transportation and childcare and wage supplements to support pre-apprentices and apprentices in Grays Harbor, Lewis, Mason, Pacific, and Thurston counties. Together, they've had a tremendous impact. So join me in congratulating Stacy Anderson and everyone in Pack Mountain as the 2018 Outstanding Apprenticeship Partner Award. Hey, thank you. And I think now we're going to come together for a picture. All right, thank you, and congratulations to each of you. And while we were able to give out a few awards today, I want to share with you from my perspective, from the governor's perspective, you're all award winners. So I want you to, as I conclude, think about the number of lives that you've been able to touch in the roles that you all play. How many people today are going to be able to go home, put food on the table for their families, and talk about the successful careers that they have? How many people are going to be able to know that they're going to be able to wake up tomorrow to be able to go to a good job that in all likelihood pays not only a good salary, but provides good benefits? And at the same time, they know that not only do they have the skills to do that job, but they have a set of transferable skills and a card that can tell any employer that they have the ability to do something really special. Many people who are able to go home today and do that would not be able to do that but for the roles that you play and your predecessors have played over these last number of years. We have an apprenticeship system in the state of Washington that I think we can all be profoundly proud of. And as we look to the future, as we look to expand, as we look to diversify, and as we look to maintain the credibility of the existing program, I know we're going to be able to continue to all work together, to support each other, to lean on each other, to be able to create the best system possible to ensure we have a skilled workforce for tomorrow for employers and plenty of opportunities and career paths for Washingtonians. And so with that, on behalf of myself, Governor Inslee, and everyone at LNI, thank you for your hard work, your dedication, and we're committed to continuing to partner with you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, Jody.
Appreciate it.